I think Gray Zone Warfare has improved a lot over the last few updates, but there are some things that we need to talk about. The visibility system is pretty much, well, it's better. Long-term contracts were a good addition, and the tactical map is always improving, and the roadmap gives me a lot of confidence in where the game is kind of headed, but there's still one part of the game the players seem to be divided on, and that's the task system. Because depending on who you ask, it's either getting a lot better, or it's still one of the most frustrating parts of the entire game, and honestly, I'm torn. With the 0.4 update, the task system definitely took a different turn, and that's going to be a scattered approach of just a enormous amount of tasks to do. In 0.3, you could do quote-unquote squad-based questing, and that was just because the 0.3 update became a linear path for all of the quests, and what that means is you do one task and then it tells you exactly where to go next to do the next task, right? Well, I ended up playing the entirety of 0.3 and playing everything to do with all the tasks, including the hidden tasks, and I enjoyed it greatly, and I actually played it with a buddy of mine who actually reset his entire account and played it through once again. But then with the 0.4 update, I will say that my buddy actually stopped playing after a week, and it's because there's no sense of progression. Now, there is a lot of quality of life improvements when it comes to the questing with the long-term contracts, which is kind of cool, but it's also the retention of the players. Players are not feeling like they're progressing. The XP scale is not there to make you feel like you're actually leveling up, because by the time you finish all your quests in 0.3, you were level 50. By the time you finished your quests in all of 0.4, which you can't do because there's more and more quests, you are still only about level 25, and you're like, okay, what the heck's going on? You're not getting a lot of XP. So there's definitely some things that have changed from 0.3 to 0.4 that are great, and some of the things that don't feel so great to the player. Now, where does the frustration actually begin for the players? Well, the problem starts once you've played for a while, because eventually a lot of tasks begin to feel very similar. Go here, pick something up, eliminate someone, return to base, then do it again somewhere else, right? And while there's nothing wrong with these, or those, I guess, objectives by themselves, after playing enough hours and the same objective keeps popping up, it starts to become very noticeable what's happening. The tasks themselves are usually not very different. If I have an elimination task, that's going to be immediately followed up by go eliminate the boss. Okay, well, I go there and I eliminate the boss. What's next? Find these 2 items with a long-term contract. Okay, sure, whatever. Go open the cache number 17 quest, right? It's the same tasks in every region, and it starts to get old, right? It's everything around the whole task system now that they're trying to make it more inclusive and more evolving, where you have so many tasks you can do that the game should never end. You can just keep playing it. Oh, well, in 0.3, that didn't feel that way because you felt like you were making progress, as I just spoke about. Whereas in 0.4, you don't feel like you're making any progress. And that's the problem with the task system now. There's no progress felt like it's being made. The main task storylines don't really feel like main task storylines because you can just kind of keep doing them if you wanted to farm the high-end ammo for a lot of them. And everything we're wanting at the end of the day is going to be squad progression. And if when it comes to just doing the same tasks over and over again, at least give me a buddy to do it with, right? Another thing that I did want to bring up was the travel time, and it has been a hot topic of discussion because a lot of people believe that there is a lot of travel time when it comes to questing, right? You'll spend several minutes getting to a new location or your quest location to complete the quest in roughly, a minute or 2, then spend several more minutes traveling again. Well, when this happens repeatedly, the pace of the game itself starts to feel very, very slow. Now, I'm not trying to be very negative here in this video, but personally I think some of the travel time is important because it makes Gray Zone Warfare feel like a real place. You're not just constantly running into POIs and feeling like you're in suburbia, because this is Lemang, it's not suburbia. But I can understand why some players feel like they're spending more time traveling than actually doing objectives themselves, not to mention the objectives are already repetitive and then you're running multiple minutes to get to each location, and it just kind of gets grueling. Well, a lot of things that we've discussed and a lot of topics that other people have talked about is the addition of vehicles. There's roadways leading almost everywhere in the game, right? Now there is off the beaten path quests and you have to run through rivers and so on and so forth, right? But there is a question of, is there going to be some sort of vehicle in the game? And if they're going to add squad progression, well, then that vehicle can't just be one dirt bike, so to speak. Maybe a Jeep, you never know. Right, so maybe some sort of vehicles to help players get from point A to point B a little bit faster and not make the game feel so slow. Maybe if it has to stick to roadways, right, it's not great off terrain, so you only drive it so far and then you leave it there and you go for a walk, right? So I don't know exactly what the solution is for this, but as everyone likes to say is, let's complain about something and not provide any solutions, so that kind of sucks. But maybe vehicles are that solution. I don't know yet, but I don't know if Gray Zone Warfare and the dev team are at the point where vehicles can be added. The reason why I think all of this matters as a whole is because the discussion is kind of important. The task system is kind of the revolving in storyline of the base game of Gray Zone Warfare, right? It's what players keep doing to move around the map and move on with progression for their goals, main story, explanation, or what have you, right? People tend to set goals for themselves like, oh, I gotta complete this mission, or I gotta get to this main task, whatever have you. So when players get frustrated with tasks, they're really getting frustrated with one of the core experiences of the game. And not to mention, tasks lead to more quote-unquote natural PvP fights that Gray Zone Warfare literally just mentioned in their live stream, that they wanted more natural based PvP situations versus the cop fights, which is what PvP is now. So if you're wanting more natural PvP situations, kind of like the Tarkov experience where you're going to have people either camping the quest location or just so happen to be in the area, right? That creates the natural location of a PvP situation. Now, I'm not saying that there should be camping in any of these quest locations, but it just so happens when I'm playing Tarkov or Gray Zone, some of these task locations that I'm going to do happen to have people there, and it's just because usually there's loot there or they're doing the tasks themselves, and this is the natural kind of PvP that they want in the game too. But with the quests being, I mean, so abundant and repetitive, a lot of people don't even care about the quest. They're like, okay, let's take over as much territory as possible, which is kind of what the cop game is when it comes to PvP. Now, what's next for Gray Zone Warfare? What needs to happen next, so to speak? Personally, I think the solution is not just adding more tasks, which is kind of what they came with the LTC system or long-term contracts. I think the game needs to be more dynamic when it comes to objectives, more reasons for players to adapt, more, I guess regional events, right? That would be really interesting to be added. More systems that can make objectives feel different each time rather than the repetitiveness that we know now. And honestly, some of the roadmap features that we've seen already might be moving that direction, but we'll see. It's kind of on the fine line of, is this a good direction or is this not where we want to see the game going right now? With the new addition and changes of the conflict zones, the combat outposts, dynamic faction systems, and those things all help with the progression and make it feel a little bit more alive when it comes to PvP side of things. The other side of things when it comes to questing and travel time and all this other stuff that we mentioned earlier is not seeing the light of day when it comes to development changes. So what do we want to see next? And I don't exactly know what that answer is, whether it be vehicles or a linear task system or just squad-based tasking. I don't know exactly what that answer is. Now, the reason I'm talking about this isn't because I think Gray Zone Warfare is failing as a game. It's actually quite the opposite. I think the game has improved a lot as of the point 3. I mean, just look at from point 1, point 2, point 3, and point 4. The changes are tremendous, way more quality of life things, and the game actually feels like a great niche game. But the better the game gets, the more obvious the remaining pain points become, and right now I think the task system is probably one of the biggest ones left. So what do you guys think? Is the task system getting better, or is there still something missing? Please let me know in the comments down below. I read every single one of them. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.